going, everybody? On this episode, as you can see, I got a new trolling motor. This is the Endura C250. It's a lot more powerful trolling motor than the one that I currently have that I've been using for the last year on my kayak. So with that being said, I gotta modify this one to make it be able to fit on my kayak. And I'm gonna show you how you can modify the trolling motor and make it work on your kayak as well. I hope you guys enjoy, and if you do, please hit that like and subscribe. Comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you. Items you'll need for this build: a trolling motor. This is the Endura C250. A 3/4 90-degree female PVC elbow. A trolling motor male female plug. 3/8 by 8 inch eye bolts. A 3/8 by 3 inch eye bolts. 3 of the 1 inch galvanized split ring tubing hangers. We're going to need 1 1/2 inch nylon gland. That'll go around the top cap. 32 by 1/2 inch machine screws and nuts. You're going to need some stainless flat washers and some stainless split lock washers. Wire strippers and crimpers. Phillips screwdriver. A can of pipe weld, 1-step cleaner, primer, and cement for the PVC pipe. A heat gun. You'll need this when you're going to form the elbow to the trolling motor. Now for the best part of all, the unboxing part. Anytime you get that new fun toy, it's always fun unboxing it for the first time. And the same goes for this. I think I went the hard way on unloading this one, but there she is. First thing we gotta do in the modification is we gotta remove the head. There's 6 screws that are underneath the head here. Just gonna put them to the side. Now that we got that removed, there's the top on it. Now this whole piece here, this is the control switchboard that would switch between forward, reverse, you know, the 1, 2, 3 multiple speeds, and forward and reverse. And all we're gonna do is pop this whole piece out. It doesn't really take too much. This comes straight off from there. Set that to the side. Then we'll pull that out, and all you're gonna do is maneuver the wires around. There's a little clip down in here that holds a lot of the wires in place that runs right into the trolling motor. And then you got your 2 battery cable wires that run up here. And we're just gonna unplug everything right from the box. You're not gonna need that circuit switch breaker. Won't need that again. Now we're going to get the wires out that are for the battery out the front here. And they just got two little clips that hold them in place in there too. It's a lot easier if you get one out over the other. And I'll set those to the side because this, keep these. It's 10 gauge wire, or it's 8 gauge wire. And that you can be used later to run right into your battery, or as on my previous video, the PWM box. That is where this build comes into play. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get these wires up out of the way here. And there's one little screw on the bottom here, and we'll be able to pop this piece right off. Just run those wires up and out over the top of it. Don't get them all stuck up inside there like I just did. Okay. Now for this next part here, the only two wires you're going to need afterwards that are going to run right into for your PWM are the red and black. Red's power, black is your ground. These two wires right here, you ain't going to need them, but we're not going to shove them down in. We're not going to cut them off or whatever. I like to just tie a knot there so they don't slide down in, where we're going to work on getting the fitting over the top that will run these wires through. Then all of this will be fitted. Use that old cord, run everything down. But for the time being, make sure you just keep these up and out of the way there. Now we're going to take our 90-degree elbow and fit the wires through. But you see the cap will not fit. Like the wires come through over the top directly. It is close, but not quite there. This is where we need our heat gun to heat this elbow so we can work it till it expands out and will fit over this. Now that we got our fitting where we want it, 90 degree, and it fits over perfectly, slides down smooth, we're going to take our pipe weld. We're just going to spray a little bit of that around. Doesn't take much. I'm just going to slide this down over it then afterwards. Just really kind of work it around it. Make sure you're straight with your motor. Now we're going to take our 1/2 inch nylon gland and we're just going to screw that in on the end. And we'll just take some adhesive sealant and we'll just go around the nylon end there just so everything is secured, watertight. Clean up any excess that comes around it. And then we'll run their nylon gland up. Now what we need are your 2 pipe clamps, but you only need the ones that have the ends that you can screw in your eye bolts. You're gonna have 4 washers, the 2 nuts, 2 screws, and 2 locking washers. Then we're gonna put them on the trolling motor along the base there. Now you can see this whole thing spins. That's fine. What we want to do is now take our eyelet bolts and we're going to take them, we're going to screw in on both sides. What they're going to do is they're going to cause the wedge inside that keeps this tight and from moving. You need to make sure when you go to get it to where you want it to be, height wise, is also the height that you want it. These eyelet bolts are where your cables are going to come for your steering. So you go and cinch it up there, go off. You want to get them just right where they both can cinch straight forward as you want it. After it's cinched down, you should be able to turn it with ease. And make sure that these never spin or anything else. Then you're just going to tighten up the nuts right on them. Make sure it's all tight on it, and that'll never move. Now what you can also do for that little extra assurance that this isn't going to move, you can seal. You can put any kind of sealant, super glue, whatever you want to do that's going to fill that gap and also assure that these are never going to move. But I've had mine for over a year, set up exactly the same way, using these to cinch on here, and this turns with these. It doesn't take much to turn. That is all I've ever needed. Now the next step is grabbing our other clamp that we use for the pipe clamps, our small eye bolt, 2 lock washers, 2 nuts, a screwdriver, and something to cinch up the nuts, either pliers or a wrench. Now that we have our rods in place for steering and our upper one in place, this one up here, this eyelet, this is for when you go to pull your trolling motor up and down out of the water to avoid, objects, or when you're coming up on the shore or landing your kayak, get it off the water. That's to pull your trolling motor up and down out of the water through this one here. Now the only way to do this though is we got to remove the lock that keeps it in place so that the whole thing free moves after that. And the way I do that is I lift everything straight up and I completely position this all the way up. Once I have it all the way up, there's a lock pin right here. There's a pin right there. And that's what controls or switch there. When that's removed, you're able to pop the switch out and able to pop the spring and everything that locks it in place. You're able to get everything out. And then we'll be able to have autonomous movement after that. So we'll go about removing that now. Now that that is removed, the locking pin, and you can freely move everything, you can adjust your trolling motor wherever you want it. I suggest having it no more than the middle by adjusting this knob here. This will be your one that you can adjust it exactly to as you want it with your kayak. With mine, I like to keep mine about 2 feet, so roughly right where I already had it. And you just lock it in there. And then steering and pull down is made much easier now. Now we'll focus off on finishing our wiring up, closing all this up, and connecting our wires to our cable. These, I usually like to just have them tucked back away. And what I like to do, and you can do it however you like to do, I just take electrical tape. I wind down from the nylon all the way down and wire right to them. And that's all I do. I just close it up that way. Once I get my other extension wires on with the plug, I'll work everything even down further, just so everything is watertight, you know, closed up as much as possible, but it gets these wires out of the way. You don't want to cut them, you don't want to slide them down in. You know, if you ever wanted to convert back and you kept the head, you can still go about doing that. Before I go to tape it, which you will find is an issue later, you're able to move this and adjust it. Still, move that and adjust that down. It makes the taping a lot easier. But another thing you could do is you could get shrink wrap and you can line this whole way up, go all the way up and shrink wrap it. That's another way to do it. For me, electrical tape has done the job. I haven't needed to do much more than electrical tape, and I've had no issues with my trolling motors over time. All I do is just wind around on it, and we'll just wind the whole thing around, you know, go a couple times or so, but that's about it. I'll show you as the rest of the way goes. Now all we got to do is wire our cables back together using the wires that they gave us that came with the Minn Kota. And all we're going to do is just cut, and then we're going to take butt connectors and we're going to connect them at the ends there. And on our opposite end, we're going to cut these off, and that's where we're going to put our nylon gland plug. This is the mill-in plug. And we'll just run that up the wires. Wire everything in at the end there. And then it's ready to go. Now that everything's wired up the way you need it, you guys can go about finishing up the way you want to do it afterwards. I usually just paint the rods and then, like I said, electrical tape the rest of the way down between the cap all the way down to the plug. I've never had any issues. You know, you can use shrink wrap, you can use whatever you feel like. You know, I just wanted to show you guys how you can convert your trolling motor and be able to set it up the way I've set it up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys took something from it. You know, let me know. Hit that comment section. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you guys would do differently. You know, I always like to hear what everybody has to say and what they would do, you know. But if you enjoyed it, please hit that like and subscribe. Thank you.